Welcome back to Surviving and Thriving,
where we share with you the things that we have learned
as we have transitioned from struggling to survive disease to thriving right smack dab in the midst of it. Today we are going to be talking
with you.
Yes, and sharing with you guys the things that we have learned about how to be supportive
and
understanding when you are the child of someone going through an illness or with chronic illness.
Yes.
And so I was about 5 to 7 years old, somewhere around there, when I first realized that something was going on. First, that something was going on, and then that something was going on with my mother's health, because she didn't have as much energy. The atmosphere in the house changed, and you never, as children, you can always sense
when those types of things are going on.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So I was just about the same age when I started to realize that.
Same age? Okay.
Yeah, like 5 or 7 when I started to realize that things are going on, and I wasn't quite sure what it was at the time, but I knew something was up.
Yeah, and the thing is, when you're young or a child, you're not going to be able to understand and fully comprehend the totality of an illness, what it means, or medical terms and definitions. So you're not going to really know, and it's not like parents come to you like and say, this is what's happening, because they want to protect you.
But to let the child know that everything's going to be okay, but let them know that you are going through something, but you're going to get through it, so that the child doesn't feel exactly left behind,
or that they're missing out on something important that's going on in the family, or something's off and they don't know what it is, so that they don't feel like it's them, that they know.
Children can be very curious, and what you don't want is them to go trying to figure out what's going on, and then realize
something that they don't understand.
Yes, or that you don't want them to know.
Yeah, so it's really good. Like, our parents, like, they broke down to use like examples to let us know like what was happening in our mom's health, but like they didn't burden us, because it's already enough as a child. You don't know what's gonna happen.
All you know is that a parent,
someone
or a family
you love,
member is
going
not feeling
through.
well.
Yes. And so we're just going to talk about things that you as the child, or anyone actually, can do to encourage and support their loved ones that are going through. And
but this is mainly too for the children.
But anyone can do
anybody
this,
can do this. Yes.
Yeah, this is for anyone. This is from our perspective, what we know that we can do.
Are things we did now and when we were young.
Yes. And so something that I realized when I saw actually what was happening, that my mother was going through like excruciating pain, could hardly walk, was blacking out. Like, I used to pray, my first prayer was to God, was like, I would do anything if like we can switch bodies so that she wouldn't have to go through that. But knowing that wasn't entirely possible, the next best thing that I thought, and that most kids probably think they would want to do, is to help their parents out in as many ways as possible. Like, to do what you can to make all the bad stuff go away. But something important to know is, right,
that sometimes you can't do anything, and there's going to be some things that you can't do, but when you see something you can do, do it. Because the smallest things can make the biggest difference.
Exactly. And so, one of the first things.
Oh, one thing that you should always do is tell your parents that you love them. Make sure that they know that no matter what's going on, let them know you love them. Let them know that even if they're not going to tell you everything that's going on, that you're here for them, even though you're a child. You still love them and
Hmm.
care for them.
I love you. You tell people that, that means that, that that person's important to you. You're important to them. And so, like, that encourages them, creates a feeling of warmth. And so, telling someone you love them is very important. And it's important to say it often. Not like, not,
Occasionally.
yeah, you should say you love, how often do we say? We say it for a fact, at least how many times a day?
I don't know, like
Like, we'll
3 to
tell,
4.
well, that's to each individual, because there's a lot of people we say I love you to, but like, to our mom, our dad, our parents, we tell them I love you in the morning, and we tell them at night before we go to bed. And then we'll tell them spontaneously throughout the day, I love you. And then they'll tell us,
Hmm.
I love you throughout the day. And it's probably important to say I love you often because you don't know,
The fullness of what they're going through. Sometimes you
yeah.
won't know.
And I love you could come in like just the right time, hit just the right spot. Also, because no moment is promised to anyone. And at any time, tomorrow's not promised to any of us. And at any time, anything can happen. And if you love someone, you don't want them something to happen and you didn't tell them, or you wish you could have told them again. So always say you love you, but also your actions. Your actions are important. And one way to show you love someone is to smile often.
As a kid, when your parents are going through something and they're not gonna be able to do things that they used to be able to do with you, and they're not gonna be able to take you places that as often as they used to take you to places, don't make them feel guilty for not being able to do that, and smile to let them know that you're happy, to let them know that you're okay, and that whatever y'all going through, that y'all can get through together, and to basically just let them know that everything's alright with you.
Yeah, smiling's important. You shouldn't just smile when you say hi to someone or when you see something funny. You should smile often because it's a sign of happiness. And you should be happy that those you love are alive, that those you love are with you. And a smile can really brighten
Change
up
somebody's
someone's,
day.
yeah. So
Hmm.
smiling often, and like going back to her point, one thing that just looking at our notes here, us as kids, kids are usually very excited, have a lot of energy, have a lot of things that they want to do. So if the answer when our parents are going through things and chronic illness, like she said, there are things that
You
they're
won't be able
not
to
going to
do.
be able to do, not be able to take you, but it's not because we have to make sure as children we see the big picture, and that it's because it's beyond them if they're not able to do something. And like she said, we shouldn't make them feel bad for not being able to do something. Actually, we should appreciate that if they could, they would, and that remember that there's always going to be another day and another opportunity for you to come back and do something with your family.
And one thing you should do is do things to surprise them, to help lift up their day,
Hmm.
like making them cards, sending them,
Yeah,
giving them flowers from your yard that you picked by yourself or something like that.
yeah. Keeping them surprised, giving them things to look forward to that they can expect from you, or even like random acts of like kindness or spontaneous things you can do. So, like making them a card,
Making up their
drawing them
bed.
pictures, making up their bed, even writing down encouraging quotes or funny jokes and like slipping it in their bag or their coat pocket, or under their coffee mug, somewhere they can find it later and know that you've been thinking about them throughout the day. Yeah. And another important thing too about cards, and if you want to write them a poem or draw them a picture, get well soon card, is that those mean a lot to the person dealing with the illness and going through, because it shows that you took the time to think about them and to give them something that will uplift their spirits. It shows that you care.
Yeah.
And then also take time to spend time with them.
Yes, even if it's just like for 5 minutes in a day, because we all have busy lives and we're all doing things.
Yeah,
But
they can be having a lot of appointments, treatments, and so when we say spend time with them, it
quality
doesn't mean,
time.
yes, you really want to aim for the quality of your time together over the quantity of the amount of time you
So
have
if
together.
it's just like 5 minutes in a day, and even if you're not even saying anything, or just spending the time there,
yeah, just sitting in the room that
with
they're
them,
in,
being with
just
them,
being in the same room. If you're watching a movie, not watching a movie, just being, knowing
together.
that that person is physically, that their presence is there. And then when we say quality over quantity, it means it's like you may not have a lot of time, but like we mentioned before, smiling, saying I love you,
being in the moment of the
yes,
time.
being encouraging you, being in that moment. Those are ways to increase the quality and the memories of the time that you have with them.
Yeah. And then sometimes it's good to put on uplifting, positive music.
Definitely
That
music,
will,
positive music, like she
yes,
said.
positive music that will encourage your loved one that's going through and even uplift your own spirits during that time.
Yes.
And music, very powerful.
Music is powerful.
And
And sometimes we may have the tendency to want to like you attract what you are, or you are what you attract. So if you're in a down mood, you may want to listen to like maybe sad music or
depressing.
watch a sad, no, like don't do that. Always, even if things are going on, things may not be going well, things may be going well, you always want to keep the positive atmosphere and positive vibes. So
you don't want to be that person in the movies that always says we're all gonna die.
no,
don't be that person.
Yeah, don't be that person. So like she said, positive music with positive lyrics. um if it's instrumental music without lyrics, make sure it's coming from a good place, and that it makes you
Music
feel,
has power.
yes, music has power. It makes you feel, make sure it makes you feel calm, or and positive, and it puts out positive feels, not sad songs and stuff. Which, another thing, movies, right?
Yeah.
Make sure you watch the plots. If you want to watch it like a family film or a film, make sure you watch the plots that there's no really like death and dying and negativity, and like, oh, the mom dies or the brother has cancer or anything like that, because you don't want to connect to those negative
Or plant
stories,
the seed of death.
or plant the seed. Like, maybe it's a feel good movie, ends happy, but you want to try as much as possible to keep it happy, to keep it uplifting. Anything, you don't want to magnify what's what what's going on or what's happening. Especially if your parents are dealing with chronic illness, you want to try to keep things positive, uplifting, and encouraging.
Yes.
And then, oh yeah, go out of your way, or in your way, where however you do it. But another good thing to do is try to make something that they do routinely, or that they have to do often. Try to, if it's not always easy, like doctor's appointments, treatments, therapies, things like that.
Try and
Even if
find a
it's
way to
at
make it more
home,
convenient for them
try to make
or
things
easier.
convenient. And I think something that children and kids are really good at doing is coming up with creative ideas.
Yeah.
And so if you see something that your parents have to do often and it's not always easy, you can think about it and you can say, like, what can I do to make it
And
easier?
reiterating what I said earlier, you have to sometimes face the fact that there is nothing you can do about particular situations. So
Exactly.
don't beat yourself up about anything like, oh, I'm trying to do this for them, but I can't do it. Because sometimes there will be things you can't do.
So try doing things you can do.
Yes.
And one good example is if your parent or your loved one with chronic illness is on a diet, and so maybe they may be cutting out ingredients like um
Sugars,
sugars or salt
dairies.
or anything.
Yeah.
Say they're on a diet or they have chosen not to eat certain foods for their health. What you can do, because that's not always easy, not eating something that you enjoy eating, or food may taste blander, not as good because it's healthier.
Yeah.
What you can do is you can look up recipes of a food that you know that they've enjoyed eating but are no longer eating.
Experiment in the kitchen a little.
Yeah, you can look up recipes on healthy alternatives
Mhm.
or healthy substitutes for foods that they are cutting out.
Mhm.
And like, if they can't eat cookies because they can't have uh flour with
Dairies.
gluten, they can't have dairy, so that means butter and chocolate chips and all of that. Find another cookie recipe online. There's lots of healthy websites for recipes where you can recreate your loved one's favorite food in a healthy way that tastes good. Because there's a lot of natural and healthy ingredients out there that taste just as good, at least when you get used to it, so that you can still enjoy the foods and that your loved ones can still enjoy the foods they love without, while staying away from the ingredients or the foods.
That they decide or cannot eat.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you can have that plant right there. Okay. Um, bring them nature. I
Open the
think
shutters, the
yes,
windows.
yes. Let light in, a natural light if you can. Bring them flowers. Having a house plant in their room or throughout the house,
Mhm.
so that if they're bedridden and they can't go outside, or if they can't go outside often, they can still have,
Life.
yes, life in the room.
Yeah.
You don't want it to be dusky and dormant and full of despair and doom and gloom. You want things to be vibrant. You want things to
Mhm.
be positive, positive energy. And a good way to do that is with plants, is with nature,
Mhm.
and is with sunlight and good
And one
lighting.
thing you don't want to do is feel sorry for the person or show
Definitely.
them like, oh, I'm sorry for you that you
Yeah.
have to go through this or do that, because that's not really gonna help.
Well, I don't know if kids are gonna say I'm sorry for you, but like, don't feel sorry.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because you don't want the other person to be swimming in a pool of doom because they're
Yeah.
making them feel sorry for themselves.
Yeah, don't feel sorry for your parent going through chronic illness. Don't feel sorry for them or what they're going through. Because, like she said,
Yeah,
it doesn't help. It's not encouraging to
and it's
know
not gonna
someone
help the
feels.
situation.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
You don't want to. You want to encourage them to keep going and to get better and
Mhm.
to stay strong. You don't want to encourage them to feel sorry for themselves and to feel down and depressed. You want to encourage them to feel better and to know that they have people and that their children, which usually children are very important to them, are rooting for you. I know our parents, we're very important to our parents, and it's very encouraging when they know that the whole family, kids, puppies and all, are rooting for them. And because this is a family thing, most people, like we said in the beginning,
Mhm.
um children may not think children understand what's going on or that something's happening, but children know, and they can feel what's in the atmosphere, and they can feel what's happening to you. We have sympathy, we have understanding, and it's very important to know and to let children, let your parents know, parents let your children know that this is a family thing and that we're all going through this together.
All in it together.
We're all in it together, and we're all going to get through it together.
But in all things,
Do you.
And hit that subscribe button.
Hit the like button.
And hit the notification button so
The
you can
bell
get notified.
thing. Yeah.
Every time we come out with a video.
And share, so make sure you tell a friend to tell 2 other friends.
Yep.
And until next time,
do you.
And remember to keep on going from surviving
to
thriving.
Bye.
Bye.